Good afternoon, everybody, from Anderson Forge. This is Saturday something. Let me check. It is some Saturday in January. Saturday 20th. Saturday the 20th January 2018. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail on this knife because, quite honestly, I spent the last week doing an entire series of videos on constructing this Cowboy Bowie. It's a transition Damascus Cowboy Bowie, and I've just got a enormous amount of time spent recording the construction of this and going over all the intimate details of it. So I just finished it. My hands are dirty. There's some black stuff. This is getting delivered tomorrow, so this is I'll set this aside. A transition Damascus. Not only I'll set it aside, right on the floor. This is a transition Damascus that's two different patterns of Damascus, and if you can, I'm going to turn this off. You can see where they come together. There isn't like a distinct line, you see. It's literally, they blend. It's like one coming out of the other. See right there? Isn't that cool? The laddered random just almost kind of grows right out of the laddered W's. Pretty cool pattern. I don't know where it all came from, but it was J.R. Cook. I just really liked seeing his stuff, and he gave me a hand getting going on this, and I really appreciate his time on that. Rocking piece of walnut and hot blued fittings with some mirror polished facets on the guard and the butt cap, and there's a couple facets on the handle that line up with the flats on the guard and the butt cap. Anyway, just do a quick. This is also the first time I've done a coffee black on the Damascus rather than hot blued. It was given kind of a procedure in coffee that reacts somehow to the tool steel rather than, and leaves the 15N20 alone. So it's pretty cool. It gives some neat contrast. Neat contrast to the blade. I like the black in the blade and the black on the fittings, and how it picks up on the black in the walnut. So that's the thought process behind this. My takedown finial, when I do this type of a takedown finial on a butt cap, I do the access hole so that the wrench goes in the hole from top to bottom. That way, when it's tightened up, you don't see the hole in the side of the finial, but you see it there on the top. Okay, it's an 1/8 inch hole, and there's you can find it in that video. This thing's cranked down tight. We will see that I have a shoulder here on my finial, and that shoulder, hang on, there's our pins I'm going to take out real quick. If you look down in this guard, there you go. We can see there's a ledge in there, right? And by the way, those aren't scratches, that's just oil. That's just oil on this guard. And that's the whole idea. The depth of that shoulder sits on, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, sits on that, the shoulder on the finial sits in the shelf on the guard. Maybe if I ended up with, I don't know if you can see it on there or not, but there's just literally about 5,000 or 6,000 space between the big flat on the finial and the face of the guard. So I can crank it down tight just like this, but it doesn't touch the surface and scratch that hot bluing I spent so much time putting on there. Anyway, I'm dragging it on. Here's You can see how the coffee etch even etched the Damascus in the tang. I think that is ultimately cool. Here's our spacer. Here's our spacer. And our guard. And of course all these things are just covered with grease and oil, so don't let that distract you. And I always put a dot. I put a dot right there on the guard so we can see what goes at the top. And we can see there's another dot right there on the spacer, so that goes at the top. Then our zero play here, and I always like to put there's a dot right there for the butt cap to go to the top, because you can get these, you could get this turned around. I actually got the spacer turned around the other day, and come on, there we go. Like so. Pretty simple. Cut and dried. Pretty nice knife. I really like the way that came together, and I'm going to have something similar here in a month from this weekend. I'll be down in Little Rock, and I'm going to have something very similar to this with a surprise sheath. I get that pretty tight in my I'm going to have a surprise sheath from an old knife making buddy of mine down there. Anyway, there we go. That's a Cowboy Bowie. And had somebody ask me on Facebook the other day, what makes this a Cowboy Bowie? And I didn't have time to answer, but what I like the fact that it has the clipped front end with false edge and the flat type guard. The flat type guard and butt cap. My buddy Jerry Reyes calls these silver dollar guards, but it's just a flat type guard, rather than an S guard or a guard with lugs that are shaped into the remainder of the guard, stuff like that. Just a flat guard. Butt cap to me is a Cowboy Bowie, and I guess a real Cowboy Bowie would be something like what Tim Hancock used to make, you know. Anyway, there's my Cowboy Bowie, and thanks for letting me spend some time with you. Nice and warm today. I didn't even put on a jacket.